How's it going, guys? Anxious Cynic back again with another Mine-imator tutorial. But as you may know, this is a little bit more than just a normal tutorial because this is the release of my fishing rod rig. Overly dramatic intro concluded. Alright, so if you watched my Finding Dory in Minecraft parody animation, then you saw this little baby in action. And a lot of you were interested in getting the rig for yourself, and this is it. So there'll be a download link in the description where you can download this and use it for yourself. I recommend watching this video though if you want to know exactly how to use it. Alright, having a little bit of trouble with my software today, but with the rendering on here you can see some of the nice fine detail here, the 3D-ness of the rig. You've got this base here, you've got this element here going in, this coming out, so it's pretty subtle, but you know, it's my usual 3D-ness that I like to go for with my rigs. And it's got a fully animatable reel, or more or less fully animatable. You can, let me turn off rendering. This is giving me problems. There we go. Now I can't see my cursor if you're wondering what's going on. All right. So yeah, you got the 3D-ness, and you can animate this to spin. You can animate the handle to spin, and you can of course animate the line to go out. You can animate this hook eye thing here where the line is supposedly connecting, and you can animate the cork and even the hook individually if you want to. So how do you do that? Alright, so we're going to go down, we're going to open up our rig, and what I've done is to hopefully make this really simple and easy for you guys, is pretty much all of the animatable parts are labeled animate. So animate string reel. So this is obviously a part of the reel since it's parented to the fishing rod reel here. And this is the part that you can spin, and it makes the line spin. So if you're reeling it in or out, you can mess with that. And you have the fishing rod line, and this, you pretty much wouldn't mess with this too much except for when it's spinning. We'll get to that in a moment. But yeah, and then you have the handle here. It's got a few parts to it, but you really only need to animate this one part here where you just roll it like this and have that be good to go. And then you have the rod eye here, and I actually had this a little bit set up a little bit differently when I did the Finding Dory animation. I parented this line to the eye here instead of how I had it before, which I think might work a little better if you wanted to animate that. It's by default at 145 degrees, so try to remember that if you accidentally mess with anything. Anyway, I had another problem, so let's get back into this. All right, so if you wanted to animate this, like let's just say you want to animate this eye here, so you bring it out. Well, you may need to take this, and you need to go to the scaling, and I think it will be, for me it's Z, for you it may be Y, but just whatever it is, the length of it. For you, you just scale that up a little bit, somewhere right in there, and then that way you can just animate that stuff, and let's undo all that and make everything look the way it's supposed to. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into the meat of it. Let's say you want to animate this to be a casting with your character. Obviously you would have this parented to a character, but for the sake of this tutorial we're just going to do it like this. Alright, so we're going to have it like that, and let's just say we'll go about 25 frames, and we're going to bring it back. Obviously this point isn't ideal, but your chances are you're going to be parenting it, so that's why I left it the way it is. If you don't want this here, then obviously you can parent the rig to a folder, as I've shown you in numerous tutorials before, and put that rotation point wherever you need it to. For now, like the way this rig is going to come, it'll probably just come like this, and leave that to your discretion. So we're going to bring it back like this, and by default, I actually have it on this ease out. I don't know if it'll be set up that way for you, but it might be. You can change that if you want. In fact, I might change it back to linear before I upload the rig. Anyway, so it's going to come back and you're going to cast it. So let's just go up a few more frames and we're going to toss it forward like this. This is going to look really bad because of the rotation point, but we'll just leave it like that. All right, hang on. Let's actually bring this back just a little bit more. Let's do something like that. All right. So now we have our line and our cork or float or whatever, and let's just say we want to animate the gravity here. This is a little bit in depth. Sorry if you guys are kind of getting bored with this, but I just want to show you how you might animate this to give you a good head start. So at this point it comes back maybe right around here. We're gonna have it make the cork kind of flop backwards. So let's go about like this, and we're gonna animate the animate fishing rod line, which is this one here. So we're going to have that come back, and then we may want to have the cork kind of flop back as well. So let's do this and have that kind of flop like that. So you get this, that doesn't look the best, but you get that kind of motion there. And then as it comes forward, then we're gonna go ahead and make a new keyframe here and here. So it's gonna, as soon as it starts to really like fling, let's actually have it come out just a little bit here. For me, again, this is gonna be my Z. For you, it may be Y if you don't have it set up. So let's have it come out just a little bit. And then at this point, we're gonna have it come out really far. So all you do is just up the Z or the length of your, whichever one, the Z or the Y, whatever is the length of the line here for you. And you just bring it on out. So as you can see, it does like that. And of course, you're going to want to rotate it. So we just rotate it like this and bring it down. And due to the way it rotates, sometimes the dangled cork comes out of alignment. So you have to adjust that. It's not perfect, but it should get you the results that you want. So we're going to do like that. It's going to come over, and it's probably just a little bit too much. You may have to kind of finagle with it to get it where you want. And pretend this grass is water, by the way. So we'll do like that. And we may want to animate the cork a little bit as well. So right there, it's looking pretty good. It's not too bad. And let's have it go right about this. We're going to have it go the same speed as this to keep up with the end of our line. Hope that makes sense. And we're just going to come down here, and we're just going to drag its position to the end of our line the way we want to. And then obviously we would have it rotate to be where we need it to be. So then, whoa, what you end up with is a nice little cast. Whoop, and that's obviously way too fast, and there's no bounce to it or anything as if it was hitting water and floating, but that's how you would do it. You just extend the line out and have it do that, and you can rotate and mess with the float. And if you drop this down, you also have the hook. I have this locked down. You can obviously unlock these layers if you want to use them. I don't really see a reason you would want to animate the hook by itself, but that's how you can do it. Okay, so now for the meat of it, if you want to reel it in, here's how you're going to do that. So let's go ahead to the string reel. And basically what we're going to do is, let's just set a keyframe here. We're going to animate this and the line, as well as the reel handle here. So we're going to set a keyframe for all three of those. And let's just make it something like that. We'll just go this many frames. Okay. So let's go ahead and start with the reel handle. Let's say we want to have it spin a few times. We're going to spin this around. Let's just go about, I don't know what that is, 1,000 or so. Try to get it back in its original position, somewhere around there. Like maybe, let's actually make it go a little faster. Jesus. I thought that would be plenty, but I guess I was wrong. Something like that. All right, let's try it. There we go. That's pretty reasonable. All right, so we got the spin there for the whole time that Steve is reeling his reel in, and we want to do the same here. So we're going to take this and we're going to rotate it on this axis. It doesn't matter which way you go. You can have it reel in whatever direction you want. I think the other one was 1800. Let's just see if we can match those up. There we go. So it starts reeling, and as you can see here, this is the problem that we get. I wanted this to be offset. I didn't want it to just spin. I kind of wanted it to look like an actual reel where the line would be coiling up around the rim. Obviously, we don't have that animated, but it kind of simulates it. So the problem with doing that is it's off center. So when it spins over here, it does this maneuver. So here's the tricky part. What you have to do is note the positions. Pretty much try to go in squares. That makes it the easiest, I think. So at this position, I have it lined up. That's the default position, so it's perfectly in line with the hole. So let's try and rotate it to the point somewhere pretty close to where it's, sideways. We want to get it on this side. And then all you're going to have to do is just rotate certain points here, like that one, and then this one, and it'll more or less keep it there. You know, how much care you take with this will depend on how good it looks. Obviously, if you want to redo this, you can center that up and then just have the little line spin without actually doing this rotation look that I went for here. But you would just go around and just find a keyframe. You know, it depends on how much you spin it and whatnot. You may get it where it's exactly lined up, which is awesome. Otherwise, you may not. My phone is beeping. I don't know if the microphone's picking that up, but it's happening. All right, so we're gonna rotate that and rotate this one a little bit. Tricky, finesse it in there, something like that, and then bring it over as close as we can be to the other side. And we're gonna do the same thing. What am I rotating the wrong one? Yeah, okay. My axes, I couldn't see them a little bit. All right, and you're gonna bring that over, something like that, and then right back. And let's see if we can copy the keyframe here. Copy this one, or let's just copy all of them. All right, copy, and then right there where it's supposed to be on the top, we'll paste that, and let's see if we can just make it easy on ourselves by doing it that way. Right there, paste it, and right there, paste it. And we'll just go ahead and paste that one right about there and see what that gets us. There you go. So that's pretty much how you would do it. I thought about including a keyframe download with this, but the only problem with that is you might want to have it reeling at different speeds and stuff, and the keyframes, you know, would kind of only provide one set speed. So hopefully you guys can just use this tutorial and understand how to use it and make all that work out really nice for yourselves. So as you can see there, we've got a nice reeling in motion. And what we're going to do is use this same distance here, and we're going to get our line here. If I could talk. There we go. So we're going to get that. I didn't realize I collapsed it. I'm dumb. All right, so we're going to get that. And basically what I want to use is the original. Now, it depends on how far you're reeling it in. For this demonstration, I just want to bring it back to its original state. So I'm going to copy that keyframe and just paste it on down over here. So what you get when you do the whole thing here is it reels it in. And obviously you would probably want this a little bit different, like for me here. We want to keep it around the surface of the water for the most part. So let's go ahead and take it at about this point in time, and we're just going to rotate it down so that way it kind of stays down near the water, just like if you were reeling it in real life. Something like that. And obviously this could be fine-tuned a lot, but that's basically what I did when I was creating the Finding Dory animation. And so yeah, hopefully that's not too complicated for you guys. It's kind of, I don't know, it's a little bit advanced for the way you have to use it, but this was the best idea that I had at the time. This is my first time making a fishing rod rig, and I really wanted to try to make it look cool and act realistically as much as possible for Mine-imator and for my first attempt. And this is what I came up with. So I hope you guys like it. I hope you get a lot of use out of it. And that's what you get right there, man. That's how you cast and catch some fish and stuff. That looks horrible. Hopefully the Finding Dory animation is a much better example of how you can make that actually look somewhat decent. Anyway, that's it for me, guys. I hope you guys enjoy the rig. As always, the link will be in the description for this rig. I actually use an item sheet for it this time, so what you'll get is the object file, which will be the rig itself, and you'll get this item sheet. And a lot of people have trouble with the textures. A lot of times when you download a rig, the textures will be messed up. They'll be like all purple and stuff, and I haven't had a chance to really experiment with that to understand it, but what I think might be the problem there is when you take the files off of someone else's computer and you're importing it, Mine-imator thinks that the file path is the same as where you downloaded it from, if that makes sense. Like, it thinks that the files are on my computer still, right? This could be completely wrong. I'm just giving you guys an idea of what that might be and how you can fix it. So just imagine that Mine-imator thinks that that item sheet or whatever texture files there are for a rig that you may download, Mine-imator thinks that it's still on the person's computer who made it, right? So when you get the rig, if everything is purple, just go into your library and go to the, the thing here, your image, which is the texture for the items. And fortunately for this, it's an item sheet, so it's only one file. If you have a rig, like some of my other rigs are actually multiple texture files, so you may have to go to multiple ones, I'm not sure. But just go to this and you can go to browse and browse your computer for that item sheet and reselect it. And hopefully that will clear it up. It'll let Mine-imator know that it's got a new file path now. That's a hypothesis. I don't know if that's how it works, but I've had a little bit of trouble with that before. And I'm pretty sure that's how I fixed it. If not, just restarting Mine-imator or something. Anyway, if you have that problem, just try that. Try a couple things, restart Mine-imator. Check the file paths by resetting the textures here. Whatever you got to do, and hopefully you can get that sorted out. Anyway, that's it for me. Once again, hope you guys enjoy the rig. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all the support. If you liked the video, feel free to hit that like button, comment and subscribe. Let me know what you think. Any ideas you have for future tutorials or rigs, etc. And that's it. I will see you guys in the next video.